Today we'll be checking out the triple installer for Bonners Ferry in Idaho from ORBX. One can see from these opening shots that a great amount of detail has been put into this airport. I'm normally not one to spend much time on the land side of an airport, but I was surprised when I elected to start at parking spot 1 and found myself at the landside entrance to the quote terminal unquote with no visible way to taxi to the airside. But look at those ground and building textures and vegetation. Very impressive. As we get ourselves back up into the air, I would note that while most ORBX airport products are named after the airport itself, this one is named for the town of Bonners Ferry. The airport name is actually Boundary County Airport, Boundary County being the northernmost county in Idaho, thus along the USA-Canada border. Being this far north, it is located in the northern Rocky Mountains FTX region. I will also note that unlike most videos where I use real-time weather, I opted for historic dynamic weather in Active Sky Next and set this one for May 25th. That way I get to avoid some snow. Up ahead is the town of Bonners Ferry on this closer side of the Kootenai River. Boundary County Airport is beyond the river, almost straight ahead. One of the things that bothers me about P3D is visible here. Notice how dark the river water is. In fact, it is almost black. This is not an issue with the ORBX water textures, but in fact an issue with the P3D water shaders. It varies the darkness of the water with what appears to be a combination of the viewing angle and the sunlight angle. There is nothing wrong with doing that in principle. However, in P3D, it is far too exaggerated, leading to inky black water. Only in very unusual situations does water appear that dark in real life, and certainly not in broad daylight. It is especially jarring at places like Palm Springs, where the terrain is lighter in color, and at Monterey, where the black water contrasts sharply with the light-colored beaches. Photoreal water textures also tend to be darkened out of existence. When P3D 2.5 comes out early next year, I do hope that they address this issue. Since Lockmart fixed the cloud issues, this is my #1 visual problem with P3D, and it should be a fairly simple fix. It is adjustable in FSX using the Fresnel effect variables, but the water constants file in P3D does not include that. Here we are on the downwind, running past the airport over to the left. As you may have noticed earlier, there was a plateau across the river from the town. It is upon this plateau, 400 feet above the river, that the airport lies. The fields and woods are extremely well done, and as we turn towards the airfield, one can really see the nice photo textures on the farmland, which add a high degree of realism. On the downwind, I did find myself heading for a hill, so I opted for a curved approach to runway 20 at the airfield. Now I have my frames locked at 40 to give a good balance between CPU and GPU load, and in most areas surrounding the airport, my frames were indeed stuck at 40. However, I did find to my surprise that approaching the airport and taxiing around, my frames were generally down in the 20s. Flyability is fine, and visuals aren't strongly affected, except when panning quickly, as when the aircraft turns quickly on the taxiway, or viewing objects with high crossing rates, which can lead to occasional stutters. This is common with most complex sceneries, but I was a little surprised just based on the remoteness of the airport. However, one can really see what is happening when one takes a close look at the buildings and objects and sees a very high level of detail. My control panel settings are as shown here. I didn't really have to make control panel adjustments for frame rates here, because selecting the items that appealed to me yielded good results, with no surprises like at some airports. ORBX specializes in smaller, high-character airports, and this one certainly doesn't disappoint. It is definitely a big change from the bush strips in Papua New Guinea, and accordingly it is not a difficult field to land at. The dirt and gravel textures on the land side of the airport are burned into my memory, in a positive way, and the setting along the Kootenay River, nestled among the mountains, is extremely pleasant. Well, I hope you enjoyed our visit to northern Idaho, and thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, please click the I like this button and subscribe. Ciao!